Yes, no, maybe? On the store page, this game sounds pretty amazing. Build your own colony ship, defend it from invading aliens, explore planets, gather resources, clone aliens. In reality, you will find that most of those elements are lacking in either excitement or in functionality. Now, because of my heritage, I'm a sucker for management and job simulators. The premise of patrolling my own creation in first person, as well as that sweet Team 17 logo, basically made me impulse buy Genesis Alpha 1. I am after all someone who finds joy in cleaning up train stations or driving trucks. I was sure I can deal with the occasional tedium. And yet, I almost quit the game entirely after my first 2 hours. From the SNES era soundtrack, to the fact that you do almost nothing but holding down a key to fill up progress bars in the early game, Genesis Alpha 1 did almost nothing to hold my millennial attention span. Big surprise, we've screwed up. Humanity has thrashed the planet and it's now up to our corporate masters to find new places to exploit. One such place is the Alpha Sector. You and your fellow clones are to build a space station and fly it from star system to star system, grabbing every resource not nailed to a rock, but also those nailed to rocks, while fending off local environmental organizations. These eco-terrorists have a habit of hitching rides back to the space station and building hippie communes in your crawl spaces. And since you are the only clone with a semblance of intellect, it is up to you to regularly evict them to keep the dream alive. Build up and maintain defenses, rifle through trash heaps for treasure, procreate, scam merchants. All to eventually find the one planet where you can settle down and establish your clone death cult. To start out, you are given the option to choose one of several corporations to work for. These determine with how much items and brain-dead NPCs you start with. If you have completed previous expeditions, either by settling a planet or by dying screaming and in agony, you get to carry over the artifacts you found into your new game. These can range from something useless like plus 5% more weapon damage, to something essential like more harvester storage. Once you are all set, the game asks you to build a functioning space station to start with. The station building is pretty simple, just put down and connect modules on 7 possible layers. Once you are finished, you can finally start exploring the unknown with your skeleton crew. The first hour or so is probably the worst possible experience in the game. You need resources to expand your base and automate certain processes. To get those, you need to scan and harvest piles of junk. Since you probably don't have a hangar just yet, you will do nothing but to go to the tractor beam console and press down a button. And you will do that for every console in your station, to clone, harvest or research. You might fight your occasional worm or spider, but your hardest challenge will be to not fall asleep. Later on, you can assign crew members to do it slowly for you, and instead spend your time joining expeditions to a planet or patrolling through the tunnels of your ship to look for bugs. You will have to do those patrols constantly, or risk becoming infested with bedbugs and scrotum rats. The planetary expeditions boil down to going to the surface, finding sites of interest, shooting at aliens that spawn every 20 seconds or so, and then join your crew in lasering rocks. And dear God, I hope you brought a crew, else you will get to do this for the next 10 minutes. The biggest excitements happened for me near the end of my round, when I was confronted with my worst enemy yet. Spider Sniffles, contracted by one of my clones due to a severe lack of socially distancing himself from nests. You see, you will quickly learn where insect incursions happen most frequently and take appropriate countermeasures. But nothing could prepare me for one of my own clones contracting pink snot spider diseases and spreading it all over the ship on his way to bed. Before I knew it, I had giant spiders coming out everywhere, eating my power boxes and exploding one of my biospheres. Which was somewhat of a problem, because it turns out my clones still need to breathe. I managed to stop the spread after about an hour of playing whack-a-mole with spiders. Bruised and battered, I hightailed it out of the sector to search for new materials to rebuild my ship. That's when I finally found the planet I was supposed to settle on. Having just enough crew left to do so, I've touched down on the surface and was immediately instructed to call Earth to tell my corporate masters about the shiny new marble we can ruin. However, the xenophobic bigots of Earth refused to settle here due to a giant spider squatting on our lands, sending me all alone into its lair to evict it. After a surprisingly exciting boss battle, I could finally press yet another button on a console to end the game. The music is bad. There's no other way for me to describe it. It drove me nearly insane during the parts where you basically just patrol the ship and press console buttons. I can see what the developers were going for here. It just doesn't work at all. Everything from the soundtrack to the sound effects appears to be designed for a retro-style game. The weapons sound weird and feel weird, and not really in a good way. I kinda like the graphics at least. It's nothing super exciting, but for an FPS layman like myself, it's certainly enough. There are these cool moments where you crawl through your infested tunnels to look for nests. It almost feels like a proper horror game then. I also like the looks and variations of the alien creatures. The alien clones can look a bit odd though, almost like someone just put a mask on as a practical joke. I did enjoy Genesis Alpha 1 during the later half of my round, when most of my processes were automated and I could focus more on expanding and hunting aliens and artifacts. But I can see how the appeal of the game is lost on most people. You need a lot of patience here. The game is now out on Steam, after its 1-year Epic Store exclusivity. If the concept of doing menial tasks over and over to slowly work towards the bigger picture interests you, it should be worthwhile to get it on sale. Radiation Blue. No other game to the name except this one. And they are from... oh no. Every time. How has Poland figured this out but we haven't?